Alright, it's time for another old school workout. And this time it's Arms Day, and you're watching VintageGenetics, a channel where we aim to bring back classic bodybuilding to the modern stage. The art of the golden era is something unique and isn't, in my opinion, represented often enough nowadays, and we want to make a difference. So, today is an arm workout, supersets. I always like to start off the supersets with some basic exercises. And this is a tricep bicep workout, so we start out with the triceps, doing the exercise, the laying dumbbell tricep extension, kind of a different version of the skull crusher, but then easier on the elbows. A lot of people complain going too heavy on skull crushers hurts your elbows, so dumbbells you can go as heavy with, so it's easier. And we combine this with closed grip barbell curls. And the closed grip emphasizes the outer head of the bicep, which gives you that peak on the biceps. So I'm making a little video for you to actually prove that these techniques work, at least for me. So I said the bicep peak will be emphasized because the outer head becomes bigger than the inner head. I'm going to show you right now. So this is the bicep, and you can see the split right there. The outer head is bigger than the inner head. So just wanted to show you that, you know, it does work. Those exercises do create a difference in your biceps. So yeah, as I said, for me those exercises have definitely worked, at least emphasized what I already had. So no matter how small the difference it makes to you, if you're consistent, and that's what bodybuilding is about, all those small differences will add up to a major one, just like a bicep peak. Next up is a different version of the French press. As you can see, I put my hands in a reverse position, or you could call it an underhand grip. And this makes the exercise harder, and it feels different on the triceps than the normal version. It's easier to contract them this way, in my opinion, and the stretch feels different. I'm so used to the regular version by now that I can put a lot of weight on that one. So this version is refreshing and challenging sometimes. When something becomes too easy in the gym, don't hesitate to change it up every now and then. And we combine this reverse French press with the wide-grip barbell curl. And to me, this is more about the stretch I feel in this one. It again is a unique feeling because you're not really used to gripping the bar so wide. It shifts the tension to your to the inner part of your bicep, but you can't do heavy weights on this version. Slowly go down, feel the stretch, and then go back up and contract as hard as you can. And then it's time for one of my favorite tricep exercises that for some reason I rarely do, the overhead dumbbell extension. And it's much easier to go heavy on this one. It's about 50 kilos I'm holding right there, compared to the one arm version, and it's also very different overall. The tension and stretch are both very different. With the single arm one, you can include the contraction in the movement, and with this one, I would personally focus on the stretch more, because as you can see, I'm not going all the way up. And you can go heavy with this without much trouble, so you can really benefit from it by focusing on the stretch. The heavy weight will stretch your triceps better than most exercises, and you know, we combine this with another old school staple, the alternating dumbbell curl. And right now, watch how I supinate my wrists, aka turn them outwards when I contract my biceps. And again, this is to carve that split in the middle of your bicep and maximize the tension during this exercise. And don't forget to stretch all the way down either. And what I actually see a lot of guys do when they do this exercise is they do it way too fast. Before they finish curling with one arm, the other arm is already starting to move and it's just an incomplete range of motion, etc. If you want to really focus on your biceps and get the most out of this, treat each arm separately and don't view it as a double arm exercise. I have seen, by the way, some comments mentioning whether they should try to do these workout splits and the volume that I'm doing. Well, personally, I have spent 8 years building up my volume tolerance. I personally just love going to the gym, so I have no problem at all spending time in there. But everybody is different, of course. If you're interested in using these superset workouts, which I really do recommend, they're awesome and have worked tremendously for me. They're old school nonetheless. I would simply do 3 supersets per exercise and maybe skip an exercise. So if you manage to do about 4 exercises, 3 supersets each, and then end it with the dumbbell pullover, which is simply a must for a classic physique. That's a very nice way to start, and you slowly increase the workload from there. And I'll be talking about supplements too in this video at the end, which could help you recover faster. And now it's time to stimulate those outer heads of the triceps again. Getting that tricep thickness is something I've been working on a lot, and the long head, as you can see at the back of the tricep, is definitely getting there. The lighting, I must say, does help, but important here is that you squeeze all the way down, push your wrists apart, and feel it in the outer head of the triceps. And we superset this with some machine curls, and I'm keeping my arms at a slight incline for a constant tension, even at the bottom. And that's the benefit of a cable like this. Depending on your stance and angle, you can shift the tension of the muscle more easily. On the barbell, however, it would be more difficult. You would need a preacher bench, for example, to achieve the same effect. And the squeeze and the stretch are always a staple in my workouts. Only a handful of exercises don't require this, but a full range of motion is in almost any situation the best scenario. Think of it like this: the more range of motion, the longer the repetition is, and the longer the time under tension is. And time under tension is one of those principles of hypertrophy, which is muscle growth. Now, one of Arnold's favorite tricep exercises, the single overhead dumbbell extension. And as I mentioned earlier, the difference here is that you can contract the triceps much easier compared to using both arms. And the dumbbell also stays relatively at a light weight, and that ensures total control over the whole range of motion. And combined with this is another famous old school golden era must-do exercise, the incline dumbbell curl. And this bench isn't set to a 45-degree angle, which I would prefer, but I just sit back in such a way that my body is in this angle. Retract your scapula, arch your back, dig your shoulders into the bench, and stretch your arms as much as you possibly can. And this is probably the weirdest bicep stretch you could feel, but that's exactly why we're doing it. When it feels weird, not saying you should feel pain, but if it feels different, it's probably something you should be doing more often. Let those muscles experience something different and give them that impulse to grow. And when you go back up, make sure to turn your wrists outwards and squeeze as hard as you can. Oh yeah, I wanted to tell you guys that we'll be at the FIBO in Germany, which is on April 10th. We're going on a Sunday, and this is our 5th year going, so if any of you guys spot us there, don't hesitate to talk. I would personally love meeting some of the people watching this video, and we'll be there all day long. And for the people who don't know what the FIBO is, it's basically the biggest bodybuilding expo in the world. Almost every known bodybuilder will be there, along with other athletes. And it'll be extremely busy though, I imagine. It's getting more and more popular each year. And I'll be walking around, by the way, in this very tank top as well. Must be pretty easy to spot. And the last exercises will be separate, no supersets. And the first separate exercise to finish off the biceps is the concentration curl. And in a second you'll see my coach get me through a lot of reps beyond failure. And as you can see, the dumbbell I'm using is very light. It's 8 kilos I think, but that's heavy enough for me during this exercise. And it's all about the squeeze on top, and having a coach who knows how to push you right up until that point is just really beneficial, and it's just really nice to have such a person around. So yeah, the concentration curl is one of my favorite bicep exercises. It is the only exercise where I feel a true peak contraction, hence why Arnold used to do them a lot. Use a light weight and contract the bicep as hard as you can at the top, while turning your wrist outwards. And you can also do this standing up. Using a little momentum, you can make it a little heavier that way, but I started to prefer the seated position because I can focus on it better. And now it's time to finish off the triceps, and this is my all-time favorite finisher for them. It is a combination of 3 tricep exercises, but using the body weight. Since it's at the end of the workout, your triceps are worn out anyway, so this should be really challenging. And I start out with the French press, stretching the triceps as you can see right here. And then I move on to the close grip press, squeezing the triceps and really wearing them out this way. And the last part of this superset is the skull crusher, where I let the triceps burn out. And if you haven't yet, you should really try this one. Guaranteed soreness the next day. And because I do not train shoulders separately, I like to spread out side delts across the week twice. And usually I combine chest with side delts, but since I'm doing only supersets these weeks, I change it up and add it after arms. And the side lateral raise with the dumbbells is my favorite for the side delts. I pretty much always do these. And again, the weight should not be too heavy. You'll only use your traps to assist you Try and pick a weight where you purely feel the side delts while performing the movement in a controlled range of motion. If you want round shoulders, light weights are the answer, not heavy weights, in my opinion. With light weights, you can ramp up the volume and the repetitions, filling your delts, your side delts with blood, and using heavy weights, a lot more muscle groups would get involved, taking away from the pump in your side delts, and that's not what we want. No, no, no. Oh, and this is an interesting exercise. The last one, by the way, and yes, I know it is a lot of volume, but I'm loving it. So, this is an exercise for the rear delts, and because I cannot adjust the weight, or the height, on these cables, I can't stand up straight because the angle of the cable would be wrong. So getting on my knees like this makes it much more effective. These are reverse flies, and cables are such a staple, in my opinion, for rear delts because you don't lose any tension. Squeeze them hard and make sure when you end this exercise your rear delts are pumped and popping out of your back. And volume again is important here. You want to fill up those rear delts and make sure you don't just target your traps, but make sure you feel it specifically in those small rear delt muscles. Yes, they're small, so make sure you hit them and get them big. And the workout is about to end. Going to shortly go over my supplements after this. I'll make a separate video going in depth, but I'll give a quick overview right now. Okay. Alright, so you just saw the workout, and we're post-workout now. It's pretty late actually. And I'm going to show you the supplements that I'm using right now. I am about 5 weeks out from my Dutch national competition, and about 6 weeks out I completely change up my supplementation and my food and my cardio workout intensity to again give my body a boost and to basically grow into the show. I don't want to deplete myself like most bodybuilders, but I want to get better as I progress towards the show. So I'm changing my supplements, and as I have said before, I don't like to use too many supplements. I like to get the most out of my food, but because I'm doing a competition now, I'm not gonna risk anything, and every little bit counts for me. But this is a quick overview of what I'm using right now and the reasoning behind it, but I'm going to make separate videos on what you should use when you're, for example, bulking or cutting or maintaining, just for the regular gym goer, and you know what I recommend. And that's it basically, so I'm gonna go over my supplements right now. If you wanna be like Goku, you gotta use these supplements. I'm just joking, but Dragon Ball Z is awesome though. Anyway, let's get started. So, let's start with the basics. Starting off with, of course, whey. Or protein powder, Whey Isolate. I'm using Isolate right now because it contains the most protein compared to regular whey. And I want to have my food as clean as possible right now, easy digestible. And Isolate compared to regular whey just has more protein per servings, less fat, less carbohydrates. I use this in the morning with my oats, but any protein powder for you guys would do just fine. But I'm in a competition, so I'm using this. Next up is Vitargo, another post-workout supplement. You should only use this one post-workout. Vitargo is kind of like dextrose and maltodextrin, except it has a high molecular weight, which they claim makes it easier and faster to digest and absorb. My coach recommends me to use this, so I am using it, but for any of you guys, dextrose would work as well. And actually I normally use fruit. I prefer fruit after working out, like a banana. That doesn't absorb as fast as this. I mean, this really does. When you drink it, it's absorbed right away, and it tastes pretty good as well. So this is what I'm using right now because I'm in a competition. Normally use a banana. Next up, let's see. Well, let's show you some intra-workout stuff. These are BCAAs, and this is glutamine, as you can see. And they, first of all, they make you drink more automatically. It doesn't really have much to do with the supplements themselves, but when you're working out, you should drink a lot. And personally, I do sweat a lot, especially during cardio, but because this has a taste, you know, melon and mango, I'm seeing right here, didn't even know, but because of the taste, you drink more, and that's good. And I personally use like 2.2 liters in a big jug every workout. But okay, let me tell you why I'm using this. I am in a calorie deficit, and I have been cutting now for a long time, and I'm doing cardio after my workout without eating anything in between. So I'm basically on an empty stomach for about 2 to 3 hours, but I want to keep feeding my body with some kind of proteins. And the BCAAs are branched chain amino acids, and they absorb very easily. Your body doesn't have to break down the protein molecules. They're already broken down into individual amino acids. So your intestines, it basically goes right through the stomach, then into your intestines, and your intestines are able to absorb separate amino acids. They are not able to absorb proteins. They would have to be broken down first. And this is a specific amino acid. It's glutamine. Your body, you know, there's a lot of misconception about glutamine. It's not an essential amino acid. And when it's not an essential amino acid, your body can simply produce this on its own. But if you want to recover, if you want to really flush your blood, your body, your system with an extra amount of amino acids before your body can decide it needs it, this is a great one. And I just wanted to try this one out to recover faster. But it certainly does aid, because when you're in a calorie deficit, that means your body is constantly burning energy. And a part of it is always, first of all, the carbs will burn, the fat will burn, but simultaneously always a little amount of protein will be burned for energy. So including this in your system will make sure you'll never run out of essential amino acids. Alright, another basic one is Omega Daily 1. This is a multivitamin. Every vitamin and mineral in here is dosed highly. So when you work out, you know, usually when you find vitamins in a regular store, it says 100% of the daily value is in there. But because when you work out, when you're active, you're using up a lot more minerals than the regular person down the street. So when you're highly dosed, that means they'll have, you know, you'll have enough for sure. So usually I recommend just eating enough fruit, enough vegetables, and you'll get everything that's in here. But right now I'm only eating broccoli and pineapple and a banana in the morning as my fruits and vegetables. And usually you see me taking past the vegetables, like I probably eat 6 or 7 different kind of vegetables, 3 different fruits a day, so I wouldn't need this. But right now, because I'm keeping to this specific food schedule, making sure my digestion is on point, my metabolism is increasing, that's what I've always done for a competition, and it works. I just need this one to make sure I don't lack anything. So next up are the omegas and the CLAs. So first of all, the CLA. This is another version of the omega-6. This is called CLA stands for, if it's gonna even work right now, conjugated linoleic acid. I remember I'm Dutch, but that means the last two words, linoleic acid, means omega-6. This is omega-3. They need to be in balance. And this is a slightly modified version, but it's basically the same, and it's an essential fatty acid that your body cannot create out of other nutrients, so your body needs it from food or supplements. Usually these are found in fish, and this is found in more meats. I personally only eat fish right now, but I eat white fish, so there's little to none omega-3 in there, and this is for your lipid profile. For your cholesterol, you want to increase the HDL cholesterol, that's a property of this, and you want to decrease the LDL cholesterol, and also a property of this. It has a lot more benefits than that, but that's the most important to me. Same goes for the CLA. It also has a positive effect on your lipid profile in your blood, and both of these together form a great combination. But I would say, if you're not doing competition, if you're having a regular food schedule, if you're eating fatty fish a couple of times a week, this is not necessary. Okay, next up is milk thistle. Milk thistle. Right there, milk thistle. Now, what is this? This aids your liver in getting rid of the toxins in your body. That's a very major part of what the liver does. So this helps your liver get rid of any toxins, and it's just, you know, when you notice your skin doesn't look clean, when your face is a little bumpy, when your shoulders, your back a little, you know, red skinned, rashes and stuff, that could mean that your liver doesn't have the capacity to handle with those toxins, those waste products in your body, and just dumps it out in your skin. This will help you. Milk thistle, it's proven to work for the liver, and I've always been using it. I'm upping the dose right now because I'm working out harder, doing more supersets, you know, more cardio, but this is really a recommendation to use milk thistle. Right, next up, Brewers Yeast. Now this is probably a supplement that you guys have not heard about, but I've always been taking this. First of all, if you have a problem with your skin, try this. It is a rich source of minerals. It has selenium, there's protein, B complex vitamins, chromium, and essential trace minerals. And it helps to maintain your blood sugar level to normal levels. You want your insulin spikes to be as little as possible. You want your blood sugar level to be as stable as possible. I've always been taking this, and it's just all around beneficial to me. Necessary? No. If you're feeling tired, if you're having trouble with your skin, you know, it doesn't look good, or if you're having trouble with your blood sugar levels, this is a recommendation. And last but not least, Turbo Ripper. Now it sounds pretty dangerous, but all it is a fat burner. And it contains a couple of ingredients, such as L-carnitine, such as green tea extract, such as caffeine, tyrosine, dried caffeine, cayenne pepper extract, and all of these combined, all of them separately actually, burn fat by upping the metabolism. So I take about 3 of these a day, just at breakfast, dinner, and before I go to sleep basically. And it just gives you a little edge, and little edges are a lot what it's about in bodybuilding, especially when you're doing a competition. So when you're having trouble You know, when you love to eat and you're having trouble cutting, adding things like this will help you a little bit. But you always have to stick to the basics, doing cardio, work on intensity, food schedule. When everything is on point, then consider adding something like this to give you an extra push, an extra edge to, you know, get a little more ripped. So alright guys, there you have it. A short overview, well maybe it was a little long, but it was an overview of the supplements that I'm using right now. While I'm also using stuff like caffeine pills as a pre-workout. I don't really use a pre-workout or anything fancy other than the Vitargo basically for a post-workout, but the rest is pretty basic. Stuff that everybody pretty much uses, but no one really knows why they're using some of the stuff they're using. So I hope you learned a little something. I'm going to go into a lot more detail in the next couple of videos about the supplements, and for example I'm going to make a video about cutting, and I'm going to include what foods you could eat, but also what supplements you can add to make it a little easier. And again, supplements are to supplement the basics, what I just said: working out, cardio, food. When that's perfect, then you add the supplements. No second earlier. No second sooner, so don't expect miracles from them. They only really work when everything else is perfect, so you can get beyond the level you're currently at. Just a little bit. But a little bit counts over a long period of time with everything in bodybuilding. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a little something, and I want to see your reaction to this entire video, what I just said about the supplements, what you think. By the way, all these supplements you can get at SciTech Nutrition. Every single one I just showed, and you're going to be able to get them at bodyandfashionstore.nl if you live in the Netherlands, and you can send me a message for a discount code. Thanks for watching guys. Leave comments down below. Make sure to like, and I'm seeing a lot more subscribers now. Every day it's increasing, the views are increasing, and I'm very happy about that. So keep liking, keep sharing please, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Comment down below, as I said before. I want to know your opinion. I want to know what you think of the content on this channel, what to improve, what you want to see next, and we'll see you next time. But as always, don't forget to stay golden.